If I can have your attention, please. Thank you. We're getting ready to start because we have not a whole lot of time, but we want to continue working on the ideas that we presented just before coffee. Hopefully the coffee and tea has stimulated your mind with lots of interesting ideas on how we can move forward, interesting partnerships. I talked to a number of people during the break, very interesting ideas. I'm really excited. We're probably going to break into 10, 12 groups, but we want to start to talk about some ideas that each breakout group will have to look at ideas that can be implemented. So I'd like to open the floor to see if anybody wants to jump in there with a first proposal for a breakout group.
Well, I have one if nobody else does. Patrick brought this up to me, and so I will just say it now. We talked a lot about monitoring, but not about evaluation. I don't know enough about evaluation myself, so I'd like to be a part of a group that talks about evaluation and technology. So I'll write it here.
I actually like the sort of point that you brought up, Robert, about sort of looking at using sort of the existing systems for our monitoring, whether it's for outbreaks, whether it's for everyday monitoring, but how we sort of harness those local systems sort of at scale.
We have a question here.
Maybe ensuring quality control and data accuracy. When working with maybe people outside the network, that data is not manipulated, and when working within the network, that people are doing, reporting data accurately.
Good idea.
Maybe one on building audience, getting content viewed.
Excellent.
One issue in terms of the democratization of information and data collection and sort of the difference between inclusion and participation, I think, is getting buy-in from organizations like the United Nations or other major players in the field of monitoring human rights abuses and crimes that are going on around the world. And how you do that, how you make an institution comfortable with having such democratized information and perhaps like interfacing with technology that hasn't traditionally been a part of institutional or even a personal culture.
So policy for organizational change in that sense to help them.
I think the practical side too, how you have buy-in from organizations to see the value in this and not necessarily feel inhibited by the potential for having so much information in open space.
Indeed.
The front.
I think there's a really interesting piece where you're forced to mash up the structured internal. There's the mashing up of the structured internal organizational data, such as perhaps might be on Relief Web, with the data that comes in through a process, say, as Ushahidi, right? Because the two complement each other massively, but they're quite divergent, and it's really where that institutional piece hits the public piece, and it's really hard to figure out how they come together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can combine that with the local systems at scale as well.
Over there.
So just to add to it is more like household level data collection, simpler ways, using communities to use the cell phones and do that kind of simple surveys.
So what was that one again? Using communities to what?
To do data collection, using surveys, but much more simpler and easily train people using the cell phones.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to talk about how can we take advantage of existing innovation and then keep building on top of that, so that different organizations are taking advantage of each other's strength and then bring that to the next level. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I feel a bit greedy here proposing two, but I think there's the open access question as well. which is about it's fine if this data is collected inside an organization, but there's clearly issues about how we share it or what do we share. But there's also a piece about other people can make more use of it than we can, perhaps.
Okay, I think that's good. I think this is a good number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like we have about, we have enough where we can break up into groups of 5 or 6, just small groups. That way everybody has more of a voice. And how do you want to distribute that?
I think we maybe should go through the list and just a show of hands as to how many, and if there are too many, then we'll try to move people onto another. So maybe you can read out the list, Derek.
Oh, we have one more.
Before you go on, can you elaborate on the evaluation? What are we evaluating there?
Patrick, can you help me? Can you help us define the evaluation part?
Define it?
Yeah, what are we talking about when we're trying to figure it out?
So there's this whole field of sort of advanced applied social science methodologies around evaluation issues that start from identifying theory of change, basically formulating goals, objectives, intermediate results, and so on and so forth. And I've just only recently been exposed to it in a major project in Liberia that we're working on, and worked together with some consultants who are experts in this field. And I was completely blown away by the rigor and depth of analysis that's actually required to do appropriate, proper monitoring and evaluation from baseline analysis and so on. It's far more involved than I had any idea about before. And so we need that expertise, because we can use all these technologies if we want, but until we actually know what methodologies to apply from a social science perspective to really identify whether we've had any impact or not, we need to educate ourselves a bit better. Does that explain?
That's excellent. Thank you, Patrick.
Sure, let's go through then. Yeah. If we can get a show of hands, everyone self-identify for your area. Okay. So yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm not a teacher, so I don't know how to.
Mine is actually less legible than his. So we have evaluation. We have using
communities to do simple surveys. I'll translate mine. Using communities to do simple surveys. Building audience and views. Harnessing local systems at scale. And so we're combining this with one over there, which is institutional and crowdsourced data. How do we deal with the different types of structured and unstructured? Quality control and data accuracy. Getting buy-in from large organizations. Harnessing existing technology, and then open access. So those are the different groups.